What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Tyler Perry's Sistas, Season 2, Episode 5. The episode is titled, Up in Flames. If you were to ask me, this was not flames. This was like putting out the fire. But you know what? Let's get started. So, first of all, we start with Andy walking out of that meeting with Bellamy and the board. And she's crying as she realizes she finally got Bellamy. So now she's making a step forward into clearing her name. She's crying to Fatima. They have this great sister girl moment. And Fatima is out here being Andy's biggest cheerleader, her ride or die girl, even though Andy never reciprocates any of that. But I digress. So as Andy is leaving the law office, though, she runs into Paris. Now, if you guys watched season 1, you recall that Paris was the guy who was related to the older woman who collapsed, or she did something at the office, and he ended up giving Andy a ride home. So he's trying to flirt with Andy in the way that he knows how, and Andy shuts him down real quick. I mean, I understand that she didn't want to be treated like, property, or when he wanted to put his bid in. But girl, this man is trying to flirt with you. You should be happy that somebody else wants you besides Gary's crazy self. This man don't seem controlling. He actually seemed normal. But Andy was not here for him at all. So they ended up walking away on a sour note, unfortunately. Because, he tried to, clear it up and be like, I just really want to take you out to dinner. And she shut that down real quick. So after that, we see Andy, she leaves. And he ends up going to talk to Fatima. And he was there to pick up his check. And Fatima basically realizes that he clearly has eyes for Andy. So he thinks that he can, ask Fatima to put in a good word for him. Fatima ain't going for it. I don't know if Fatima wants Andy to be with Gary, or if she just doesn't want to be in any more things that have to do with Andy. Woo, child. So next we see Sabrina. She went to the bank to have that meeting with her boss to see if she still has a job. And some type of way, I don't know, but Sabrina still has a job because her boss says that she went back and looked at how Sabrina did things and she did everything correctly. I just don't feel like in the real world Sabrina would still have a job. But you know what? This is Tyler Perry's world. We're going to roll with it. So her boss also tells Sabrina that she's hired someone new, while Maurice is out. So she wants Sabrina to train this person. Okay, so then we see a new guy by the name of Jacoby. I'm kind of here for this, a little flirtation on the job. Also because I don't want Sabrina with Calvin. I feel like she can do better than Calvin. I'm not trying to discredit Calvin, but I just feel like he has so many things that she doesn't care for in a man that she would normally be with. And this guy seems like he's more her speed. So while she's supposed to be training Jacoby, she ends up stepping away to call Maurice and tell him that they have hired somebody new at the job and that he needs to come back to work. He does need to stop playing that he has a disability. But Maurice will be Maurice. So Sabrina goes back to talk to Jacoby about training him and, getting him started. And there's a little bit of flirtation. You can clearly see that he may have a liking to Sabrina, and I am all here for it. He's like, you smell really good. And she tried to shut it down and was like, oh, it's like I took a bath, I took a shower. And it's like, okay, I know you got Calvin, but this dude kind of cute, All right, so we next see Danny. She is clearly on her break. She is in her car. She's over here vaping, but she's also calling Preston to say that she wants to talk to him. You know, things that night ended kind of sourly, and I feel like she wants to make things right and to kind of tell him, like, you know, maybe we can't do certain things as an interracial couple. But she also ends up getting a call from someone else at her job saying that, hey, have you heard from Zach? Because Zach didn't come in. And she's like, well, you know, I'm pretty sure, you know, he would have, like, came in unless there's something that's happened. Just cover for him. The person didn't want to cover for him. But Danny convinced the person to cover for Zach. So now she's trying to figure out, why is Zach not at work? Because that's not like him. So she ends up calling Karen. Karen answers. First of all, Karen, when she saw that it was Danny, she had an attitude. I really don't understand how these girls are supposed to be sisters and friends when they really do not like Danny at all. Like, at this point, just say y'all don't want to be friends with her. Anyways, so Danny ends up calling Karen. Karen answers and is basically like, oh, well, you know, Zach got arrested. So Danny's like, what do you mean he got arrested? Like, how did he get arrested? So she lets her know, oh, well, you know, he popped up on me and Aaron when we were at the hotel. Before she can even get any further, Danny's like, oh, hold up. So you was out here being a hoe. And Karen, you can tell she was already irritated by that. And Danny's like, oh, you know, you should bail Zach out. And Karen like, nah, I'm not about to do that. So Danny lets her know, like, that's really messed up. Okay, I get that Zach has been around for a long time. He was with Karen for a long time. But at the same time, I don't think that Karen owes to bail him out of jail because, first of all, they're not together. Of course, he has a prior record and he got arrested for something stupid, but also he shouldn't have been breaking and entering into the hotel room. Like, nobody told Zach to do that. He should have had Fatima take him home, but that's not what Zach decided to do. Okay, so the next scene, we see that Andy has walked into the salon, into Karen's place. You know, she just wants to tell her that, just like an update, that, you know, she got Bellamy and how she's finally able to, like, you know, she's starting to clear her name. And then Karen has to share her tidbit about Zach going to jail. And she tells Andy, you know, what happened. And Andy is like, basically saying, like, Karen needs to bail Zach out of jail. Karen is still strong on her word that she's not trying to bail Zach out of jail. And even Andy tells her that she's wrong for this. Alright, so we next see Sabrina again. It's back at the bank. And Maurice comes in. He has a walker. He's being extra dramatic. You know, I just really want Maurice's character to be more and to do more. That is not him in these constant antics that they have him do. Like, I get it, he's supposed to be funny and dramatic, but, like, at a certain point, like, it's not funny. Because I literally did not laugh in any part of this scene at all. I'm like, if anything, he should have been requesting to talk to the manager, not just going back to his spot and, like, logging in, trying to help customers. Like, how does that even work? So, I mean, Jacoby was trying to be nice to him, you know, just ask him, like, you know, how do you like the job or whatever he asked him. And, like, for some reason, Maurice was trying to give him, like, an attitude. I'm like, this man, he did not purposely come in here to try to take your job. You were going to be out for a while. I don't see the problem with someone else being hired until you come back. But, you know, it's Maurice. what else can I expect? Alright, guys, so we next see Zach. He is in jail. He's looking like he is, I don't know, it's like all his life is gone out of him. Of course, we see the cop. I'm assuming that her name is like Ray or something. I'm not sure. So the cop comes back and she's just talking to Zach, and Zach is very, what's the word I want to use? Okay, like Zach honestly has a terrible attitude, and he was giving her all the attitude whenever she had anything to say to him. But like the whole moral of this scene was her basically getting him to confess that him sleeping with her in high school was a bet. Honestly, I did not see that coming. I just thought that like he hooks up with this girl in high school and that was it. I didn't take it as, I didn't think that this was going to be like him and his friends were going to have a bet about like if they could like hook up with this girl who was supposed to be like the ugly duckling. And like, I understand why she was very upset. I understand all those things. But like, I don't know, it's like her approach to everything is very strange to me. Like, so basically you flirted with him, you did all these things with him. Like, what type of revenge were you trying to get from like doing all these things with Zach? Like, I don't understand. I mean, I get why she was so hung up on it, but at the same time, I'm like, so you like sat in his face and was like flirting with him and like all these things. It's just very weird. But I am glad that Zach admitted that he was wrong. Like, he shouldn't have just hooked up with her just so that, he could win a bet amongst his friends. Like, who does that? What is this? She's All That? Is this She's All That? Y'all remember that movie? But yeah, I am glad that he realized that he was wrong, though. Because Zach is wrong in a lot of situations, but he never takes the blame. But I think this was one situation where he knew he messed up and he couldn't get out of it. So she ends up telling him that, he's posted bail. And he's like, well, who bailed me out? She's like, she don't know. So this whole time, you guys, I thought it was going to be Andy, because Andy just got $250,000. Nope, it was not Andy. It was who? Fatima. I promise y'all, Fatima and Zach, they just may be a thing, and I am kind of here for it. Let me know, are y'all here for it? Because I know I am. So she bails him out, and they're talking, and she's like, oh yeah, we're just gonna go get something to eat. So I feel like on the next episode, them going to get something to eat is gonna be more like a date, and I'm ready for it. Hopefully that's what it is, because both of those characters, I feel like they will be pretty interesting together. So we next see Karen. She's at the salon, her and Pam. And Aaron comes in, he comes by, and Karen already knows she got to get Pam up out the door because Pam is messy, Pam is nosy, and of course she was trying to get all up in their business. So Pam leaves, and Aaron is basically saying how, he wants to talk about what happened the night before, and how, he doesn't regret anything that, that they did. And Karen was like, hold up, I didn't do nothing. Because, they never got to the part where Karen got to doing things, But Aaron, he had his face in some places, okay? But he says that he doesn't regret it because he still wants to make love to Karen. But he did say that he's not going to be drinking anymore, which I'm hoping that that stays true, because he was an alcoholic. Like, you don't need to be drinking wine. You need water. That's all you need, sir. All you need is water. Alright, so then we next see Danny and Sabrina. Well, Danny, she was at her house, and she's, still trying to get in touch with Preston. Baby boy has dropped off the face of the earth, and Sabrina comes in, and she has to tell Sabrina, what happened between her and Preston. And Sabrina is like, she's trying to be a good friend. I will say this. Sabrina is a good friend. She's great at being a listening ear to everyone. So, they discussed the whole Preston situation. And then she's like, okay, well, let's go, because they're going to the party for Maurice. And, okay. Danny has been wearing this white blouse and this black pencil skirt for so many episodes at this point. This entire season, which we are on episode 5, I have not seen her in anything besides that unless she's wrapped in her blankets from her bed. I don't understand why Danny did not want to change her clothes. I get that she's well, nobody's going to be looking for me or nobody wants me. But girl, at the same time, you got to get out of this pencil skirt and this work shirt. She literally looks like she just got off work and her friends dragged her out. I want to see Danny look all done up. Am I the only one who wants to see this? Anyways, so lastly, you guys, we see Andy and she goes to see her man Gary. So honestly, this is a hard conversation for me to follow, just because at one point I felt like Andy was coming there to see Gary, as in Gary her man, and then it flipped into she wants nothing to do with him, but then she's also getting mad about other things. It was a lot happening within this conversation, and I'm just you know what, Andy, you are better off on your own. You don't need Gary. I just feel like she's going so hard about Gary being innocent and him being set up and all these things, and now you get in his face and you're like, no, we're done. I'm done with you. Why are you going so, to me, she was going more so super hard about Gary being innocent and had Jasmine and Morris was setting him up versus clearing her own name, getting her place back. But now she wants those things, and she's telling Gary about it, and he's basically saying girl, forget your little apartment. I can get you something better. You just need to stick it out with me. And then he's because he didn't mean to say that, I guess, but he definitely meant it. But Andy is those were my things. I worked hard to get my apartment, and she tells him that she's over it, she's done with him, and he's okay, cool, well, give me my money back. And she's I ain't giving you back. And I'm wait a minute, wait a minute. I get that you lost everything, Andy, but you tried to be the ride or die girlfriend for him, and now out of the blue, you're I'm done. And I get it. Gary is very controlling, but you knew that when you were messing with him, when he was out of jail. Let's not act like this is something new. And I am not team Gary at all. I cannot stand that man. But I just think this is a weird time for Andy to now be oh no, I want to be by myself. I don't want to be with you. But you're still worried about if he's innocent and if his ex-wife is framing him. I don't understand. That baffles me. But this is Andy. She's a very complex character, I guess you could say. So that pretty much summed up this episode of Sistas. Honestly, this was not my favorite episode. there wasn't really that much happening that interested me. But, next week looks like there's going to be a lot of things heating up. Now, that should have been called Up in Flames. But we'll see. Please go ahead and like, comment, share, and please subscribe. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts down below in the comments. And until next time, guys, bye.